Rise this Sunday morning from 7:30. Well, long gone are the days when dads had little to do with their kids. The modern day father has become much more involved in family life. That's even the case in the celebrity world. Actors like Brad Pitt, Matt Damon have taken on fatherhood with a passion. Father of 6, Brad has even been quoted as saying he'd like more children and puts his family before his career. So this morning on Sunrise in Focus, we thought we'd look at why dads are so important. And joining us is Tonnet, a family counsellor who specialises in working with fathers, and 2 other dads, Troy Jones with his daughter Matilda, and John Suter with his daughter Olivia. Good morning to you all.
Good morning.
Good morning, mate.
Good morning.
Now, Sean, let's start with you. Why is it so important that dads are involved with their kids? What sort of impact do we make?
Well, there's a lot of research that suggests that the more involved that fathers are, the greater emotional, cognitive and social functionality of children. So the bottom line is, I think, that active fathers make healthy children.
Okay, so what do we add sort of in that balance with a mum and a dad? What does dad add that's different to a mum, if you like?
Well, I think there's lots of things that dads do differently. I think that for play, for example, it can be a bit more riskier for children, and that can be important in their development. So when a child goes to play with a dad, they might find that it's a little riskier for them, it's a little more on the edge, and that can really help children with how they learn about fear and excitement. And even the way dads nurture children, the way that they feel, their smell, the way that dads hold kids will be very different to mum.
Yeah, oh, that's nice to know. Troy, you put together a DVD called Being Dad.
Yes.
It is a terrific thing to do, I reckon. What do we as dads need reminding about?
I think we need reminding about just about everything. But my biggest trick for dads would be to get some time alone with the baby early on. One of the big mistakes is that people think that, you know, they're going to bond instantly with the baby and those kind of things. Whereas the average guy that we've shown in our film, as you said, Being Dad, is that they don't. As the baby arrives, and they're sort of more shocked and surprised that a little person came out of a big one than anything else. And so to get some time early, make some mistakes, put the nappy on backwards, do those things wrong without the mum standing there watching you.
Is that what we're afraid of? Afraid of making it because we think the babies are so fragile that, they might break.
In our films, we've had about 100 guys talking about this stuff. And about 90 guys out of 100 have never held a baby till they hold their own. So a baby comes around a room and they sort of back off or slink off into the background. So the first time the baby comes out, they've basically been in denial the whole pregnancy. The baby comes out and all of a sudden, oh gosh, it's real and I've got to figure it out. And there's not that immediate love that you can't, there's an obvious love thing there, but there's not a total loving feeling. So to connect somehow, try to get some time by yourself and learn the things so you don't fall out of your depth. And that's the funny thing about our DVDs is we have no women involved in the shoots whatsoever. So the dads really open up about their fears and how they felt. So some of the stuff they keep from their wives in terms of how they're feeling is quite amazing as well.
What, because we have this macho thing we can't admit?
Absolutely.
Yeah. John, what do you love about being a dad? Gorgeous Olivia.
Yeah, she's beautiful. We've got another one, Charlotte, who's almost 4, who's at home sick today. I'd say at 7:30 at night, Koshy, when they're all wrapped up in bed, that's pretty tremendous. And you get that first quiet moment of the day. But no, seriously, I mean, they're just so amusing and entertaining. Olivia's just started walking at 16 months. She's just bothered to commence that process quite late. And it's just hilarious to watch. I mean, she sort of adopts the arms out and it's like Frankenstein after 6 schooners of brandy or something, the way she's moving around the room. So they've just got that constant entertainment and amusement.
It's a magic part of your life, isn't it, that no one should ever miss.
That's right. And I think as a parent too, it sounds cheesy, but watching their progression, because they start off from such a low base. Human babies really can't do very much at all. So every little extra step they take, like pointing or whatever, to you just seems quite amazing.
I think it was well important when you talk to dads like John. You hear all about how I don't have any time, I don't have any sleep, I don't have any money, I don't have all these things that I used to have, but it's the greatest thing I've ever done. So all these negative things that just roll out, but somehow it turns into the greatest thing. And before the birth, most blokes are completely petrified about the whole thing. So somehow, somewhere in there,
And you certainly never...
She's been working on that.
That's very good. That's for Mum and Nana and all your friends at Kindy.
She's been working on that for about 2 years, so it's paid off.
I love it.
But you certainly never speak to Dad who's regretted having a child, you know, that's one thing. And our first one came along as a bit of a surprise, and we weren't necessarily in the position that you might have imagined you want to be at that time. But of course, you know, we haven't regretted anything, and we've had another one, and you know, probably won't be the last.
Sean, it's also important to point out, while Troy and John are loving being dads of young kids, that father's influence on teenagers is really important, and young adolescents, isn't it? Probably just as important, even if not more important than with younger kids.
Yeah, look, I think it is, but it starts as soon as the babies arrive, which you know, Troy and John have been talking about, because I think the impact that dads have for families and for children is that they're going to help reduce the risk of youth suicide, and they're going to help reduce the risk of failure at school. And it's those development of really important life skills that dads bring from day one.
Yep. Well, it's the most important job that you can ever have.
Yeah.
Guys, lovely to meet you. And girls, we promised the Wiggles DVD, so that'll be coming your way for a period on the show today as well.
And mate, the Being Dad DVDs are at Big W as of today, so pick them up from there.
And we'll have all the details on our website.
Fantastic.
Good luck with
Thanks,
it.
mate.
And happy Father's Day to all the dads out there, Mel.
Oh, I agree. Happy